Hey everybody, it's Adam with the Pattaya News. It's been a bit since I've been on camera, although I'm sure you've been listening to me with a number of live videos that we've done with events taking place every single weekend. Now, what we're going to talk about today and why I'm back is a little bit about high season, but more about the fact of the so-called 4 a.m. opening that Thai media has gone nuts about for entertainment venues and bars, set to start on December 15th. We're also going to talk about some controversial issues that have taken place with recent raids in Pattaya and the fact that they appeared on paper to raid people playing the popular dice game. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. And finally, we're also going to talk a little bit about Indian nationals now getting a free visa waiver, which is extremely exciting to many of our Indian viewers and readers, of which we have lots. So let's start. First off, I'm going to start by saying that this weekend is the Pattaya Jazz Festival. This is the first time they've ever done this in Pattaya. It will be taking place on Pattaya Beach on the 10th and 11th, Friday and Saturday from 5 p.m. on. And of course, it's headlined by Kenny G. A lot of people have asked us about just Kenny G. When can they come down and see him? He will be the final act of the festival on Saturday night at 9 o'clock. For those of you that are excited to come down, Pattaya City is expecting about 20,000 people to come for their first ever jazz festivals. Traditionally, Thailand has done these in Hua Hin, but now they've moved them to Pattaya and they're expecting a big crowd. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk about high season 2023. So Russians, we already talked about this to death, so I'm not going to go into it today. Were previously given 90 days basically in the country, visa-free. It was basically reciprocal because Thais get the same in their own country, as well as many other countries. However, for a while, the Tourism Authority of Thailand had been asking for Indian nationals to get the same type of courtesy. Now, they were not given 90 days, but they were given a visa waiver for 30 days, which is actually effective as of this week. Now, many of our viewers have said, well, what about me? What about my country? Keep in mind, many Western countries and many of our viewers that come from Western countries like America or UK have basically had a visa waiver for ages, which means that you don't have to go to a consulate or file a visa or pay a fee before coming. You just walk in, wave your passport, and enter the country. Now, they're hoping that by allowing this for Indians and also people from Taiwan this week, that will continue to boost tourism over high season. What do you think? Tell us in the comments. We've had a lot of mixed opinions on how this high season is going to be. Some of it Thailand's fault, and some of it, quite frankly, out of Thailand's control, such as airline prices around the world. And some people have even stated that the war in Israel could be causing issues on people coming and visiting. Now, our next topic, by the way, I wanted to add on that, there has been no chatter whatsoever on a 45-day extension or even 90-day for people from other countries. That's being asked a lot, especially after the Russian thing. But as stated, that was reciprocal. So at this time, there are no plans from the Thai government, unfortunately, to bring back those long stays for people from other countries. They're really focused on short stays and tourists, not on people staying for months and months and months in general right now. Now, next up that we have 4 a.m. closings. So let's be honest. I'm going to be very, very blunt. Quite frankly, many venues, I know you're going to be shocked hearing this, are already open till 4 a.m. or later in and around Pattaya, not just Pattaya, but all around Thailand. Of course, legally, the closing times are midnight to 2 o'clock a.m. That's the legal perspective. Now, there's all sorts of ways that people stay open later, and of course, there's not necessarily any consistency there. This is meant for a consistent program so that everybody has a level playing field. But it's been debated so heavily well before the past few weeks, going back to the prior administration of Prayut, years and years, that it's almost become a laughing stock. Now, this has nothing to do with COVID, like some people have said in comments. Quite simply, the 4 a.m. thing has been very controversial with various activist groups and people afraid of crime. And keep in mind, the majority of Thailand doesn't live in Pattaya or Phuket. So they just hear about this 4 a.m. and they're living in a rural residential area. Some of them have never even been to a tourist area, and they don't understand the differences that A, this is proposed only for tourist areas, and B, only for certain zones. We're going to get to that in a minute. So that's why there's been so much controversy and so many people opposed to this who aren't even in Pattaya, quite frankly. Now, it is going to happen. That's what both the Pattaya mayor and the PM and others have said, effective as of December 15th. The bad news is it will not take place anywhere except current entertainment zones, such as Walking Street and Central Pattaya. Now, the current entertainment zones were set in 2002, over 20 years old. And since then, quite honestly, things have changed. There's tons of bars. In fact, the biggest gay area in Pattaya is located in Jomtien, as well as hundreds of other bars. There's also many bars now in Naklua with a strong German bar community, and even on the dark side in East Pattaya. Technically, though, they're not supposed to be there. Now, you can sell alcohol, and you can have a restaurant, but any entertainment venues with hostesses, music, anything fun, technically needs an entertainment license, which, although they may or may not be giving out, they're not supposed to because they're out of the entertainment zone. So there's been talk also for ages about expanding these entertainment zones. That's not going to happen right now, probably not till next year. So yes, the 4 a.m. is going to happen, but the bad news, number one, is it's only going to happen in the current zones, and number two, the Deputy Prime Minister and current Minister of the Interior, Anutin Charnvirakul, stated that this would not apply to alcohol sales, but only allow the venue to stay open later, bringing many people to give comparisons to, hey, let's let restaurants stay open later, but not serve food, or let's let movie theaters stay open later, but not show movies. This is probably going to be walked back a bit, and they probably will expand the alcohol times as well, as quite honestly, it doesn't make sense to expand their hours but not allow them to sell their main products. But that is what he said over the weekend, which got a lot of chatter and a lot of controversy there overall. Last but not least, we're going to talk about raids. Now, right now there's a nationwide crackdown. They call it the kickoff campaign before high season, not just here in Chonburi, but everywhere, especially tourism zones. And it's mainly designed as a message to influential figures that they will not put up with corruption, they being the central Thai government. So there was an interesting raid over the past several days where they raided a go-go bar located in Boys Town, and they raided it for gambling. And people were playing the popular dice game. I don't know the actual proper name for it, not jackpot, the one of Asian orientation, where they throw several dice and they win. Now, the thing is, the dice game itself is not illegal, but gambling is illegal. So they walked in and they found people betting on money on this game. And they also found people working illegally, which is a whole different problem. And so they shut down the go-go and fined them and took the manager into custody. This brought up a lot of people asking, does everybody have to get rid of the dice game? No, but technically you're not supposed to gamble on it at all. Now, we know in reality what probably happens, but the law is the law. As for whether or not casinos or gambling will become ever legal, that's a whole other topic. We aren't going to cover that today. So again, I want to hear what you have to say. 4 a.m., good thing, bad thing, keeping in mind that really it's pretty much happened already, at least in tourism areas. And the other problem is, one last message I want to leave you with, is many people when they hear about entertainment, especially Thais, and expanding entertainment hours, entertainment to some people is just allowing a sleepy bar to show a football game later with some very mild patrons enjoying a pint. Entertainment to Thais is people going absolutely nuts, jumping off walls, everybody going ape shit with music, 1 million decibels. So that's the problem, is they're not able to tell the difference between allowing a bar, just like a sports bar, to stay open late, and allowing a nightclub with huge loud music or a live concert. And of course, they're already talking about making some differences between those. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that little informal chat. We'll see you at the Jazz Festival. Take care of yourselves and each other.